Hey, 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 ladies. Hey, guys. Welcome to Wife Talk. I am Takia,
And I'm Jamie.
And I'm Shatara.
and we are Wife Talk. We are here today with a juicy topic. So, Jamie, kick us off.
We're going to be talking about Jezebel, or is it Jezebel, Delilah, or both? Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Oh,
Lord.
Lord.
I've been watching it. You know what I'm saying? Sprinkle, sprinkle. You got to say the way she said.
It's the way you Shatara just went like this.
Yes.
Yes.
So, do y'all want to start off with a sprinkle, sprinkle clip, or what do you want to do so that the audience knows?
I think that's important, and then we can go into what that spirit is, that name is.
Okay.
And
All right. So,
guys, y'all are not gonna believe this one. So we're gonna go right into this clip.
Right.
You're gonna want to buckle your seatbelts with this one.
you said buckle your seatbelt.
Because the
We're
tragedy.
going on a ride. Let me see. Okay. All right, we got her on the screen. Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Age where they are more ambitious and want to be more accomplished. When you're dealing with a man that's doing nothing for you and you're ready to experience a man who will do everything for you, that's how you know you're ready for a provider. Okay. And you're not hoping and waiting for that man that you're with to do better. You're hoping and waiting for you to meet better men, because if you've been with that guy a while and he has not improved, chances are he will not improve. So you might as well switch out the guy. All right. Why do they keep coming back even when they have been with other women? Because they think you're going to take them back. If they keep coming back, charge them. Okay, make them pay.
I think I went too far back.
That's how you do it. Then they'll stop coming back if they ain't got no money.
Sorry. I was ready. I think I went too far back. But look, let me see if I can find.
You said, how do you feel about illegal immigrants trying to holla? I mean, I think they're just trying to get into whatever country they're trying to get in. You know, they might try to marry you, but charge them too, girl. Sprinkle, sprinkle. If you want to marry somebody and get paid, then that's your business. But don't do nothing free. How would I get revenge on a Dusty that did me wrong? First of all, I'm not wasting no time, no energy on no Dusty, period, no matter what. Okay. You wasted enough time on that Dusty as is. Why are you going to waste more? Take all that energy and thought and put it into finding a provider man, okay? All right. That's the best revenge. Show up with a provider. If you ever run into him, you got a provider, okay? That's the best revenge. By leveling up and getting all your bills paid so you never have to mess with a Dusty again. Okay. Because, are y'all still thinking about the Dusty? You obviously still have feelings. So just move on. Right. Just don't think about revenge with Dusties, because it's wasting more of your time and energy on someone who's not going to ever do anything for you. Your best revenge is to find somebody that's going to pay for everything and make you, have the best life possible. Now, a lot of y'all might not like this part of it. Okay. Be prepared to date men who are already taken. Let me repeat that. You don't have to agree with this part. But if you're tired of working and you just want somebody to pay them bills, pay that car note off, you're not worried about the future, you're not worried about marriage, you're not worried about all that, you may have to date someone who's already married or taken. Okay? To get your money, period. So, but I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying you may have to, you may have to if you're really trying to find a provider. Okay.
Okay.
And that's our case study.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
I think and I hope some other single women listen to this. I really hope y'all stop taking advice. I pray that you guys stop taking advice from people that have no connection whatsoever, no real relationship with God. Because there's no way I would share with any woman to it's okay to be with somebody else's man, married or not. It's okay
Right.
to be with someone else's man. To me, that tells me about how you see your worth.
Mm-hmm.
It's never, I
Right.
don't care what they say about the wife and oh, she's getting played and cheated on. What it comes down to is I see your worth.
Right.
You're saying that you're not worth a whole man. You're saying that, and I don't care that you have this independent attitude. It's like you're operating in trauma. You're operating in trauma. And so now you're getting with someone else's husband, whether it's, whether you wore him down or whatever. You done decided to open up a gate to something that you don't truly understand
Right.
the fullness of what you're doing.
Right.
And that is scary in itself because people open up things all the time and are not fully aware of the consequences or the things that can come upon them. So now they're just thinking, I'm just having fun. I'm getting my bills paid. But what happens if a kid comes involved in this? Okay. So now you have raised a kid that might have been in the same environment that you grew up in.
Right.
So now you're raising a kid and you're furthering a cycle of men not being there. Men
Right.
not showing up. Lord forbid it's another girl. But what if it's son? Your son is learning the things that's okay. With what they say, little boys find women like their mothers, and little girls find typically guys like their fathers or whatever, or the things that they're missing in their fathers, or the things that they're missing in the mothers. They find these types of people. So if you have that type of influence enough on your kids, what happened is now you're going through a whole different type of level because you think the sin just fell on you, but now it's going down the line. And Lord forbid, what we don't want? People don't like to see their kids hurt, especially in a way, the same way. Them grandparents, they especially don't like to see their grandkids hurt. So what happens if it skips your kid? He was a product of it, but he skipped him.
I see what you're saying,
Grandkid.
but what if we have to look at it like these people don't know anything about God? They don't have no relationship. They don't care if anything goes to the third and fourth generation. What they're concerned about, sprinkle, is getting the bag. And I'm just being honest. And so, but wait. Another way to get the bag is to have a kid. So, like, if I get pregnant, he gonna pay me child support. That's additional money.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing: I won't have to take him to child support court because he don't want her to find out. So he gonna give me extra money. This is hush money just because, and child support.
I think what's also interesting here is that she's telling people not to have a future. She's telling people not to have a future by telling them that if you just don't want to work no more, you don't care about the future, you just want to get your money and just be chill over here doing nothing.
Married. She said those that don't care about being married or having somebody to love them all the time, then that's what, and some people don't. I remember I told you that initially I didn't even plan on ever wanting to be married. So not wanting that I want somebody else's man, but I didn't want to be married to anybody. So I could be in a relationship and then I could leave when I wanted to. I never wanted to be contractually with anybody. And so there's plenty of people with that mindset because majority of women now, especially now, and this is way back then. So that generation, my generation, was starting the trend for these women now, right? And so she could care. I mean, like, now after getting abused and lied to and mistreated, the thought process is like, why even connect with somebody enough to want to be married to them? And so she's speaking. I'm telling, like, I don't even have to think of no more. There is hundreds
I've seen
of
it.
women.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds. This is a majority because not everybody's saved. Like, right? And even when they are saved, not everybody got a relationship with the Holy Spirit. So we got to be really real here, because there's women in the church that are sleeping with the pastor, and the wife is sitting right there in the front of the pews.
We got to look at self here.
And I just sprinkle, just encouraging it.
But the thing is, let's execute wisdom here. Let's execute wisdom and sprinkle anybody in their right mind. Your right mind.
Okay, there we go.
Whether you're saved, let's take save out of this, as a woman, as a human being. Before I got saved, yes, I was dating guys that did me dirty. I still didn't have a mind to, oh, let me get them back with revenge by being the other woman. I didn't have that in me. It wasn't, and I got, all of us then got done wrong by men. Relationship after relationship.
Right. Well, what about the woman who enters in the relationship not knowing he even has anybody? You know what I'm saying? And then you fall so in love that you don't care if he's with somebody.
I just feel like you said, look at self. Let's examine self real quick.
It's not with self.
Single woman, I used to preach to other single women all the time. Right. I used to give advice. Now you talking to somebody who wasn't in these long lasting relationships. What I'm talking about is I didn't date just to date like most people did. Most people just, oh, I think he's cute, I'm gonna go with him, and oh, I think he's cute, I'm gonna go with him. And for me, it wasn't like that. It was like, okay, I need to see if you're going to add value here to my life. And let's just talk about the integrity, your integrity, your character. Because here's the thing, I don't care taking saved out of it. When I was a single woman, my integrity is what mattered to me. So I'm not saying that every woman has that, but I know my worth. So because of that, I was just like, I wasn't dealing with a foolishness. So a sprinkle couldn't come along and bamboozle me, because that's what I feel that's happening here, is that she's bamboozled women into believing this other reality of how you can get a man and how you can receive a man, and this is the best thing since sliced bread. And
is it a man that she's saying they can have, or the bag? Because
yeah, like
right.
Yeah, and then maybe that's what it is. The whole thing, she just really chasing money.
Yeah,
she don't care who she hurt. She don't care about what home she wrecking. She don't care. All she want, she is ruled by money. That's where her treasure is. She is so, I don't care who I hurt. So she probably grew up broke, busted, and disgusted. And or she grew up in somebody was single. I don't know if it's her mom, dad, or grandmother. She grew up in poverty. And she don't ever want to go back. Because usually when somebody go in poverty, either they still remain in poverty or they go to the extreme.
Yep.
Because she doesn't care. She sound like what it sound like. I don't know. That maybe she was raised by a single mother and her dad didn't do anything. Her dad knew about her, and maybe her mom was the side chick herself. And I don't know. I don't know this lady from a can of paint. All I know is the eyeliner is just
oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's distracting me. Like that's all I see. But anyway.
So the real question is she a Jezebel? Is she Delilah? Or is she both?
So let's dive into the Jezebel definition.
That's the real
What
question.
Delilah
There's a spirit behind it, right? There's a
Mhm.
spirit
That's a
that's
spirit.
operating currently in the world right now, especially with single
Yeah.
women, right? And then there's a spirit that's operating in men, right?
Yeah.
And
But
that's why
Jezebel spirit is a strong spirit, so it's multiple spirits in one.
right,
Mhm.
right. So we know that, right? And so the question is, the question is who is Sprinkle working for, and who is Sprinkle talking to or developing in other women, or that may potentially be close
Now
to
that
that, and you know, on the brink of being Jezebel, but not quite there, or on the sorry. Okay, go ahead.
now I kind of see this. I feel like Shatar
Okay.
said, made mention about the money. I think that's more so to do with that money. I think there's some other sin stuff there. Obviously, the you okay with sleeping with a married man, all that kind of stuff. But it's like I really feel like when I look at her, that's that thing that's on her. Is I don't want to be broke, so I'm never gonna be broke again. So I don't care who I have to use to make sure.
But is that
not,
Jezebel or Delilah?
I think it's multiple. I think it's both. Because
Yeah.
I feel like with her, she wants to control. What she feel like money control. You don't give me what I want, I'm dropping you. You just But my thing is, and then you could tell it's some self-esteem issues there. She not feeling like,
so?
huh?
You think she got self-esteem issues?
Absolutely, because
Sprinkle?
yes,
Absolutely.
She got some self-esteem.
What do you think they are?
She don't feel like she's worthy of it. She may not feel like she's pretty. She's thinking that. Anybody could sit there and be like, oh, okay, I look good today, but tomorrow, oh my gosh, crying, fetal position.
Okay, so you think that she suffers with not rejection, right? And then not feeling
oh yes,
right?
I see
rejection.
Oh,
I
Lord.
can see
That's why she's
abandonment.
okay with being with a married man, because see,
Right.
here's the thing. That seems like a little bit easier than just dealing with a one man and being rejected by him. At least if he's married, I'm like, he's married anyway.
I expect him to leave me.
Yeah.
Abandonment issues too. She got abandonment issues too. Because she's like, I expect for you to leave. All right, peace. You want to go. That's controlling.
Yep.
That's
control.
You got. She has all of that.
Yep.
Okay.
And I seen it when that's why I had to share it with you guys, because I was like, y'all seen this sprinkle? Just because I know that when I can look at somebody's eyes and see what that thing is on you, like,
does sprinkle upset y'all? Like, because you are married. No, so listen, y'all are married, right? And you heard her say what you heard her say. How does that feel? No, for real.
No,
because I'm not in a relationship anymore, right? And so I know how that made me feel. I don't like side chicks because I had to deal with a whole bunch of it was just disrespectful, right? They just disrespectful all the way around. Any way that they could have been disrespectful, they would have. Even little subtle things that they probably didn't need to do, they did, right? And I wasn't married, and I didn't like it. Because when I'm done with somebody or a relationship's over and they move on, they don't hear from me. You want to know why? The relationship's over. So when somebody else is that, when my ex or something like that is in a new relationship, they need to be over there, right? And I'm gonna stay over here.
Me too.
That's my thought process, right? Right. But then, what I had noticed is that wasn't like the most women do not think like that, you guys, not at all. And so if a man is an Ahab in a situation, he is going to feel validated off of that attention that those women or those exes are giving him, even if it disrespects you. You know what I'm saying? And so how as two married women, because I know what I felt like, right? How does that feel? What does that feel like to hear that another woman is training side chicks? Because she's basically telling the side chick, do what you got to do to get the bag. Do it. What does that feel like? Because it's gonna hit a lot of women. There's gonna be a lot more side chicks than there are going to be women with noble character. Like all y'all is breathing this. Because y'all married, it hit different. Like y'all done took the vows. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, going through.
Okay.
What's it feel like?
I'm gonna go first.
Okay. Oh, wait. Wait. I feel like you're in here. Give two answers, okay? Give the answer that you probably would have thought was okay when you were freshly saved, and then give the answer now that you have experience as being a wife. That's all I'm saying. Just give two answers, because we have new saved women that are married, and then we have, so just
Okay, so being a freshly saved woman, I'm like, I'll fight her.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name. Touch mine, and that'll be the last thing.
Look, like Samson, the Lord came upon him. It said his spirit came up. The Spirit of the Lord.
Right.
So that's all I'm saying. Spirit of the Lord.
Right. And then, as later on, now, I am a wife. Okay. However, I am a woman first. And as a woman that is a saved woman, yes, I am a wife. I can see with my spiritual eyes that this girl is wounded.
Right.
She is wounded times 100.
Okay.
And my heart goes out to her because you really believe that you are right.
Okay. All right. Okay. So how would you pray for her? Would you confront her? Would you what would be the
I definitely have to pray for her first. I have to pray for myself, pray for her.
I was gonna say, because would you have
So in the beginning I could have fought, but I'm the type of woman and I'm like, yo, if my husband is willing to be distracted by that, I will leave. That's how I was. That's how I will leave. You ain't gonna listen. I know what the Lord has for me. I'm not about to settle for nothing less than that. So that's one thought. One of my thoughts. Now I'm like, we just shouldn't touch other people's stuff because that's how people die. That's how people plot murders. I'm sorry, y'all. Listen, y'all just pray for me. But that's how people be plotting stuff and you be taken off this earth. That's how
you said, oh my God.
Right. So,
but I'm still saved.
Right.
In Jesus' name. Listen, I'm human. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I would, because you training people to, and just like she said, if he's going to entertain that, what can you
really do?
Right. But at the same time, you have to see in the spirit. We wrestle not against flesh and blood.
Right.
You have to see in the spirit, and my spirit saying, girl, I've been that girl. I remember trying to, and it's just me. One weekend I went to.
No, it froze.
Who said that?
Jamie.
Okay. Okay. So one weekend I went out a couple of years ago. No, it was a couple of years ago. It was my early 20s. And trying to juggle just even conversing with me. I can't keep up. I was saying, now, where did I meet you? Now, what? Huh? It was one guy mad. He said, I'm not calling you no more because every time I ask you, do you even say your number saved? But I can't keep, it's another level to that. I can't keep up. But the fact that you would tell somebody to ruin people's household, people now, they will kill. Think about this. Children involved, families involved.
She said that.
2 different families. And it's like, you are telling women it's okay to go against what God has ordained to. You she is sent on an assignment.
Yeah.
She is sent.
She don't care about God.
And it's like, why do y'all believe her? Why? I would want to sit down and talk to one of those girls, women.
I could explain to you why they believe her.
Right.
I could explain to you, first of all, not everybody sees good marriages in the first place.
Right.
Okay.
So especially in our community, because what I saw was a lot of Black young women in there in that thread. I seen a lot of young Black women in
I
that
want
thread. Just
the same ones that we follow on Derek Jackson too.
probably so.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That was wrong. But it was right. Because it was. Because I had to do a little stalking. I was trying to figure out, the trend. But when you don't see a healthy marriage, it does not give you the incentive to want to try it, right? And then a lot of times you see your dad was choosing the side chick over his wife the entire time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was choosing the side chick over his family. He was choosing the side chick over everything. So in these people's mind, the side chick was winning, right? And they didn't know if daddy was going to give the side chick money or anything like that. But Sprinkle is talking to that little girl, that trauma-filled little girl. And because we have that so much, you know what I'm saying? It makes sense to them. And I seen one girl do a review. She was like, sorry, I need to pull that up. But she was like, she was in the Corvette and she was like, I just want to give a shout out to Sprinkle. She said, because I'm in this car right here and this man got the bag. Look at y'all. Look. And then she hopped off her thing. And so I was like, oh my God. Because she looked like she was a good 19.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing that bothers me so much when I see relationship gurus that sit on an evil assignment. You know, this is the work of the enemy. This is not the work of in any fashion of God. So you sit on an assignment from the enemy, and you're getting young people, young women, before they fully understand their identity. And that's what the enemy does anyway, in general, to people. Is that the younger he can get you and snatch you out of your identity, that you will go blinded the entire time until you wake up again, till your eyes are open again to go, wait a minute, God didn't make me like this.
Right.
A whole life in these streets. And see, here's the thing. I did have the luxury of seeing what marriage was like because my parents have been married so about 37 years now. So I saw it all of my life. I know what the hard times look like. I know what difficulties look like in a marriage, in a partnership. And so I can understand you saying, well, they never seen it. And in their eyes, the
side chick was winning.
Was the one that was winning. But let me tell you what the result of the side chick can look like. Because what has happened is, and this has happened in my family down the line, the side chick got nothing. So you might be getting it, living it up right now. But guess what? At death, when death comes, now you stuck like Chuck. Because they didn't know about you. And if you do decide to get bold enough to attend the funeral and stuff, they're not giving you nothing because you came in here and you purposely came here on a mission. You was a side chick, and now you come into a funeral where we're burying the person that look. Regardless if this was his persona, you chose this particular time to come to this thing where we're burying him, and now you're dropping these bombshells on us. And what I'm supposed to do? You want me to help you? No. And
well, see, that's why they got Sprinkle, because Sprinkle still goes tell them to invest their money that they get from the man so that they not hemmed up. No, this is real. Now before, back in the day, hold on, back in the day, I would have agreed with you. The woman don't save the money. She thinks that there's going to be something at the end of the rainbow, right? Well, we know that ain't worked for a long time. So Sprinkle is teaching them a new level to this game.
Do Sprinkle sleep with these men?
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't. Actually, she has a good
sugar daddy.
So she got one that she sleep with, from what I can gather, and then the other one she has limits to how long she deals with them.
This just sounds too complicated, and women are falling for this foolishness.
She got a strategy.
This is too complicated. And women are falling for this foolishness. That
So it's both. It's a Delilah and
Yes, it is.
Jezebel. It's
Yes,
both.
because I watched the video with her, and she was like, she was very dainty, and she was very delicate in this video on telling how women to play the damsels in distress to get the bag.
ooh,
You know,
Delilah. Okay, Delilah.
yeah, and she was like, it'll take a little time, she said, and then she was, but this is how you do it. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. When she got done, I was like, oh, that's gonna work. And so a man did a review on it, and he was like, she's got to be stopped. She has got to be stopped now.
So I wonder what kind of men that is. I mean, because we see Delilah with Samson, right? And I told y'all before, it's like in one part, he found somebody was like, yeah, I want her. But she wasn't, I don't think she was doing anything. She was just out there in the streets. And he was like, yeah, I like her. She is beautiful. I want her. And he went to her. But then she started
That's the Instagram model.
that whining and stuff. And, just tell us the riddle. And then she got the information from him and went back and told her people because they threatened to kill her. So she went back and got the information. And then now you go down and you change the chapter over one, and now Delilah enters the thing, and she's doing the same thing of, yeah, he liked her. Oh, I think she's beautiful. Now he's with her, and guess what she does? Wears him down too. Oh, tell me. And he gives up his strength. So it's like, what type of man is that you would be okay with? And I guess,
oh no.
So some of this that's a guy's natural thing. They want to be, they're the protector, they're the caregiver, blah, blah, blah. So we know that's something that's innate, but to that degree, to this exaggerated degree, that you would sit here and be bamboozled out of your money and everything else, out of your marriage, out of everything else.
That's a lot of men, though. I look and I had to tilt my head. What? That's a lot of men.
You bamboozled out of your marriage, out of your money, like that, out of your blessing.
But how many famous people have we seen do that? Though, like, be married and then like cheat on their wives and lose everything and fall to shame. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they have lust issues. They have zero discipline. You feel me? Like, and that's a lot of men.
It's a lot because a lot of them have a gap that's in them that's missing. We gotta stop with these gaps and address it. The real issue here before we keep, having domino effects and, in families. And we have to realize that the enemy is here to attack families all the way around, whether it's husbands, wives, children. We gotta, being a Christian, we gotta hold to our faith and remember that. And I wanted to ask you, Jamie, why didn't you want to get married? Because that stuck out to me.
Oh, I didn't want to get married because I watched my dad just do all kinds of stuff, right? And my mom was a wife, like a wife, legitimately, to the book. And my dad was terrible. He didn't seem like he was terrible. He did the providing and all of that stuff, but he was terrible. You guys, like, he was not a husband. And so, like, I didn't know that until I got to a certain age and I watched how he moved, with my mom. I mean, I remember one time I had snuck to a club, y'all. Okay. I was supposed to be in there. I think I was like 16. So I think I'm grown. Okay. And I think, like, I was standing on top of the bar. I was a cheerleader and a dancer. Right. So I thought it was cute. I thought I was doing something. And all of a sudden, over like the mic of the DJ, he goes, Radiance. Now, mind you, nobody knows my middle name. So that's my middle name. I was like, Radiance, you need to go to the VIP area. I was like, VIP area? I was like, ooh, I'm about to get the bag. That's what I'm playing. That's what I was thinking. But I was like, who's in the VIP? Okay. Get there. is my dad. I was like, well,
Go to the club with your daddy.
with my head tilted. I think it's the first time we came into a disagreement. It was like, well, I won't tell her if you don't tell her. And that was the downfall, because like it was a downfall of our relationship. Because I looked at him sideways because he wasn't in VIP by himself, right? So my dad had a whole nother life that we didn't. My mom definitely knew nothing about.
That's sad. And then his
I think the first time
is going to have a lot of women.
Right.
That
I think the first time my mom found out, I'll tell you this, for the first time my mom found out that my dad was cheating on her, my dad used to take me everywhere with him, right? And I remember going home and I was like, Mom, you know, I don't know about this brother situation. She was like, what are you talking about? You can't get rid of your brothers, because she had 2 kids of her own. Okay. So I had 2 brothers, older brothers. She think I'm talking about them. I was like, nah, I went to daddy, went with daddy, and we went to this lady's house, and they introduced me to this boy that they're saying is my brother. And then I was like, but daddy's black, because my dad was dark skinned. And his mama's dark skinned, and his kid's light. It don't make sense, right? And my mom was like, what? And so I showed her where the person lived. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you where they live. And that was the first time she found out that, anyways. So watching that and seeing that, yeah. I was like, oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, why even be that to somebody?
That's what That's what I never understood when people step out on their marriage. It's like, why would you put on all of this to say that you want to be with this person and that you'll do these things for them and stand before everybody just to humiliate them later on? I don't get it. And maybe that's not always in them the entire time. I don't know. I think it is. I mean, honestly, I think it is. But it's just not been triggered or activated. And but for you to do something like that on such a like, this doesn't alter. And me and my husband had this conversation one time, but I told him, I said, I don't care what our grandparents and those people outside, like older generations, try to make you believe, you could have the side chick and all this other stuff. I don't care. The biblical thing was that men are supposed to be in the household with the kids. Bottom line, period. That's how it's supposed to happen. And so if that's the way it's supposed to happen, by you stepping out into these other areas, into these other households, because it happened in my husband's family, and it happened in my side of my family too, where you had one set of kids and the married and all of this, and then you had all these other kids. And and during that time, it was about security, right? It was about the fact that if I leave you, I don't have anything. So what am I going to do? How am I going to manage all of these kids? Now it's uncalled for. Now I feel like it's not how it's supposed to be, but the women are getting the bag too. Like, I can handle, if you decide to do this, I'm good. I can go get my money and raise my kid, but that's not how the family dynamic was intended. That's not how it was designed when God had all of this. This is not how it was designed. It wasn't meant for the mom to be outside the home, the dad to be outside the home. It was meant for everybody to be together. And my thing is, when it caused toxic trauma related stuff, when everybody's in the household, I'm like, it's better to go your separate ways, but get healing. Don't just have your kids out here believing, let them form their own opinions about their parents. Let them form their own. Don't be, because I know women, they be like, oh, your daddy ain't da da da, and he did this da da da. No, let your kids form their own opinions. I know that's hard. I know who you were the one that was hurt, or vice versa. I know it's hard, but let them form their own opinions, because bottom line, kids are smart. They are aware, and like you did, I seen this ain't right. This is how my relationship with my father changed, because this ain't right. So you were able to form that opinion clear of influence from your mother or whatever. So that's the thing. It's like this is how the structure was made, and to have sprinkle come on here and make it seem like it's okay to have all of this stuff, because right now she's talking about the bag, but you don't hear about the byproduct of the crap that you're doing, the stuff that you're telling these women to do, because you're just seeing the bag. But now these women are, like you said, these women are like, oh, I can get a bag from having and popping out a kid too. So it's destructive. It's so damaging to their mental health and the kids and the family dynamic. Like that's crazy for you to bring in a kid with trauma like that. I often even look at these celebrities that have different baby mamas, and I'm like, that's not how it was designed. That's not how you didn't. Like, this life wasn't just given to you for you to just lose control and just be like, oh, I want to get this one pregnant because she baddie, and then I want to get this one over here pregnant. That's not how it was. Just you weren't given that gift to do that. You were supposed to do some other stuff, but you went and so tightly bound with this lust.
Right, but aren't they more encouraged to be lustful though? I mean, like, men are like told to go out and, so they're just kind of have fun.
The have fun, that again, like I said, when we can talk about the sexual aspect of that stuff, that's not really having fun. That's not having fun. That's not the fun that you want in your life. I mean, it seemed like it's great because of the feelings that you get when you're actually having sex and an orgasm and all that kind of stuff, and people touching you the way they're supposed to touch you and all that kind of stuff. But when you get down to the spiritual root of all that, you don't want that. When you can see what you probably pick up, that's what they say, oh, you lay down with them and the other issues that they had. Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. And so if you see all of those issues, do you really want to pick them up? Do you want to let those enter into your life? I'm good. That's disgusting.
So let me ask a question. So were y'all, don't, I feel like I'm putting you on the spot, but this is just the logical thing. Were y'all virgins when you got married? And then how many relationships did you have prior to before you were like, you know what?
Absolutely not.
I want to be celibate and do this the right way. Huh? You were not?
No,
you said I was not. My thing froze.
Oh yeah, no.
You were. Okay.
I was I've always been this independent thinker. So while everybody was being pressured to do stuff and everything, I wasn't. But when I felt like I was ready, I went and did it. And was like, oh, okay. And what came with that was so terrible. I wish, like I said, I learned about the physical stuff, repercussions of sex, but I wish someone would have told me about the spiritual stuff, because it took me almost a decade to break a soul tie.
So you were with one person before your husband, or was it more than one person?
It was just this one particular one that I had a tie with, a strong tie with. And then I had probably, let me see, I think I dated 2 other people before him, 3 other people, like 2 people seriously.
Okay.
Because I didn't really just date just to date. Like, I wanted to make sure that there was other stuff. Now, I was wilding. Now, I ain't gonna see he ain't called hip-de-doo. I was wilding, in my early teens, early 20s. I was wilding. I was like, I'm just trying to do what it do, baby, and then we can move on. But I wasn't it wasn't wild. Like, I had actually kind of, it sounds crazy because most people don't, but I can name names. Like, of course I won't, but I can name.
So you had so you
and
had
it was over 10. So
right, but over, like, before you got to your husband, you had a couple interactions with men sexually, right?
Just one.
Or were they just the one? But you had emotional.
So before my husband, before I went into this deep dive with my relationship with God.
Okay.
It was around 2013, like 2013-ish or whatever.
Okay.
And during that time, I decided there will be no more of just freely dabbling like I was. Like it was just going to be like,
right,
with someone, we're going to get to know each other. Then if that happens. And that's where I realized that I was acceptable of things that I shouldn't have been acceptable, because it shouldn't have been like that. It should have been, we get to know this person. If we have something, we should have the discipline enough to wait to experience each other like that. And
so why do you feel, I just want to see, because there's different levels to this, right? Like everybody got a different story on here. Why, if you saw your two parents together, why did you not choose that route with just waiting? You know what I'm saying? Is my thing frozen again?
No.
Oh, so like you had the example of having your mother and father. Why? I'm trying to make sure I word this right so it doesn't sound crazy, but how come you didn't abstain from doing anything with anybody until you were married?
So
I guess that's the best way I can say that, right?
My parents actually were teen parents, but they
okay.
So the thing that I got from my dad was, if I could have waited to have kids, I would have. I enjoyed you guys. I love you guys. But if I could have waited to have kids, I would have. And then I would have experienced being with my significant other a lot longer.
Right.
From that, it was imputed in Kia's brain. And this is what I got from that. It was like,
okay,
until I'm 30. And when I get married, because I already knew I was going to get married, I was like, when I get married, because at first I wanted this fairy tale thing like my parents had. They were high school sweethearts, and then and so that's why I had such a tie
with that other person.
Yes, because I just believed that we were going to have this magical thing. Thank
that he was your Chris Charlie.
Thank God, God had a different plan. But and I mean, like, we're more mature now, so I of course he's not as terrible as I think he is now. Well, that I thought he was, but it's like that was my set. It was like, okay, once I get into a serious relationship, that's why I didn't just regularly date, because my dad had already told me, you know, I want to spend time and get to know my significant person. So in my mind, it was like, okay, I'm gonna have to get to know this person, and before I really be crossing the lines like that to like get married and have kids. And so that's how I was thinking. So that whole time, even while I was wilding, I remember having this prayer. Like, after I had that conversation with my dad, I think maybe I was 16 or 17, when my parents were like religious on having us have the sex talk. Okay, like we had the sex talk, drug talk, almost every quarter. Like they were.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't get none of those. But go ahead. Okay.
Because they were like having no grandkids. I'm like, yeah. No, I had.
They had like sex did not exist.
Yeah.
Who has it?
My parents were very open, very, very open to this, because they were like, we cannot experience another teen pregnancy like this. So, so anyways, they were very open. So we had these regular talks. So in my mind, that was the solution. It was like, and so I remember praying to God. It was like, the Lord, I don't want to have kids before I'm 30.
Gotcha.
But the Lord was so gracious. I didn't have kids till I was 20. The year of my 30th year is when I had my daughter. My 30th year on this earth. That's when I had my daughter. And that was so crazy, because I was like, dang, he didn't even let me like break in the 30s. He was just like,
but you said you wanted 30, right? Yeah.
He wasn't your butt down. So I mean, that was like, that's the reason why I didn't really follow, but the information that I got, that's what I got. It was like,
that's the way you processed it.
Yeah, that's the way.
Right. What about you, Star? What? How many people did you date before your husband? Like what? I mean, no, like, okay, you don't have to say no number, but like, don't say a number, but like, I plead the fifth. Like, where the Bible at? Like, I don't know, but
listen.
Okay.
What Jesus said? Let the dead bury the dead.
Yeah, let that be dead. Okay.
Yeah, listen.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
listen, girl. Okay, it was some skeletons in there.
Okay.
I didn't have that, but however, you know, I did dated a guy that I just thought was he checked off all the boxes. Yes, this is gonna be
Okay.
my husband. And he was at the time, just like he had said, he was Satan himself. He let me know, I don't want you. In my mind, it was like, oh no, he checked off all the boxes. Like all the boxes. And I'm telling you, when I got my relationship with Christ on track,
Mm-hmm.
I had to beg, like beg, because I kept saying I'm done, but then I go back. I'm
Right,
done, and
right.
then I go back. I block him and then unblock him. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, he do it all over again. I had to say to the Lord, I am done. Lord, you're gonna have to strip me of this soul tie. I repent, Lord, giving him my body, and he is not my husband. Like Tia knew I'm telling you, we had to touch and agree.
Oh no.
It was that bad. And I told myself, So once the Lord released me from that, however,
Right.
me and my husband did slip up several
Okay.
times. And
Oh,
that
okay.
tainted what the Lord was trying to show us.
So how did, okay, this is good though, because how did it taint it? Like, did that give the devil leeway to?
Yes, when the Lord was trying to reveal things to us. Yes, this is your kingdom spouse.
Yep.
But stuff that we should have dealt with in our
Beforehand.
singlehood dating, we're now dealing with in our marriage because we did not allow the Lord to heal us.
Mm-hmm.
And we kept and we had tried. Don't get me wrong. We was like, okay, we're gonna stop. We're gonna stop. All right, yes, one night, yes, okay, we did it. Next thing you know, we fell, and it's like, what in the world? So we didn't wait, and we should have.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, that's why I can stand before you and say, wait, because this could be your kingdom spouse, but let the Lord heal you from things. Because if not, it's going to show up, in your marriage times 10.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing, you get to see, like she said, your eyes are open when there is none of that. There's no kind of cloud over you guys. There's none of that sin going on, that fornicate. There's none of that going on. So your eyes are open. Your spirit is more sensitive and aware. Right. Okay, this is what I need to talk to you about. Because see, when you're with your husband, when you're with him, you and the way y'all live, like living together, you become aware of how they feel. Like you can sometimes think of like maybe he's feeling like this. And when you have a connection with God, a relationship with God, God will sometimes give you the thing so you know what to address with him. And so it's the same way, even before, almost beforehand. That's a preview beforehand. It's like, oh, I think we should talk about this. So you're just thinking, you're just talking about it, but it's the spirit done gave you something that y'all need to dive into before you get married. And so it's important to have those spiritual eyes open. You don't need to have it clouded. And it's not just, like I said, it's not just about,
You're saying sex clouds clouds the eyes.
Oh, absolutely. Listen.
Why?
Listen, I'm telling you it. But however, what I can say is, once we got in covenant and we set out all that, us sleeping together, that condemnation went away. Because we knew it was wrong. We were active in the church, and it was like, I can't do this. We gotta stand before. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, like,
how does that feel?
It felt terrible at first.
It don't feel good.
Let me tell you something. At first, it was like, okay, well, I just like Kanye drugs. I don't care. But then when you start spending more in time with the Lord, it's like, I can't keep doing this. Like, And he was the same way. Like, no, y'all, I'm telling you, it will be like, oh my gosh, immediately condemnation. It's like, even before when they said he would make a level of escape, he does. But we didn't, we ignored it.
Yeah.
We straight up ignored it. And I'm telling you, it had so much stuff that the Lord was like, see, y'all, if you would have just waited on me, this is your spouse. But if you would have just waited on me, all this stuff could have been nipped in the bud in the beginning. Now this condemnation and all the shame, guilt, now that when we have sex, it had dissipated, it went away. But however, we're dealing with stuff that you should have dealt with when we were single.
Right.
So no. That's why I said I didn't have that, oh my gosh, I met my husband and we were just kumbaya. I didn't have that story. And it's because of, number one, our selfish desires. We did not yield to the spirit. We did not, we just, yeah. We just didn't.
No, don't say yeah. Hold on. Whoa. You didn't yield to the spirit. So you heard it. You were like,
oh yeah, like once we started.
And then you were like, but I don't want it with that person, right? Like, so in a way, you're like, nah, God, come on now, for real. Like, because can't be. Can it be? It can't be, right? Was it one of those type of things?
It was like, at first, we didn't have, I can say I didn't have, it was just like, well, he's my husband anyway, so that's what it was like to me. But then once I started getting into relationship with the Lord, like further, like actually giving him, and it's like you can't do both. Me or you can't, sin and me cannot reside here. So it was like I wanted to, but I was to lust. It was like,
so basically you're like, well, I mean, if he's my husband, I could just sleep with him, right?
That's I believed the lie. I believed the lie. I still didn't wait. And I'm telling you, it was all hell broke loose. Because we were active in the church. We were active in the church. You see one, you see the other. We serving. But that's what man sees. But behind closed doors, it was terrible. But then once I started to further my relationship in God, and he knew too. Because it'd be at times it's like, okay, gotta go study. And it's like, this is wrong. What we doing is wrong. It's not like it was just me saying, oh no, it was him too. Mm-hmm. We both were saying it was wrong, but we end up still fell to sin.
I did. I held out for a good bit with my husband when he started acting right. I held out a good bit, and then I caved because obviously my daughter's here. Okay, so that was a totally different experience. But I will tell you that we went to I won't say cold turkey, but it was like that. It was like me praying and repenting and just making sure that nothing fell on my child. Nothing fell on my child. And so because of my disobedience, because of my sinful nature, like I didn't want anything to fall on my child. So it was a lot of me praying. And during that time where we weren't physically active, it was the clearest and loudest I for God because of the fact that was removed. And it was it could be so difficult because when them pregnancy hormones sometimes be hitting a little bit different. And so sometimes it would be difficult, but I'd be glad. I'm serious. I'm being real, man.
No, I know. I was like trying to.
A little bit different, and so
strong.
But I was grateful that I didn't cross the line because it was like I've already crossed an ultimate line. I don't want to, keep moving the bar, and so. For a while, for a very long time. It's probably about a year, almost a year. No, it wasn't a year. It was probably like 10 months that it was just like, nope. And then of course, after I had her and around, it was like a birthday coming up, but then he had already had decided to buy a ring and stuff. And see, I didn't know that.
Okay.
But he had already had decided to buy a ring and things like that. But I just felt like during that time, it gave us so much clarity on
Right.
the future of
Right.
should we do this? Is this what who is this who I'm supposed to be with? All of that. And so I would recommend couples doing that.
Right.
I'm not
So here's
because I want you to deny, because I want you to be mean and you didn't do that. I'm telling you that you just gained another sense of clarity.
Right.
right. Okay, so so when you say all hell broke loose, just give me like one idea of what hell looked like.
Well, as far as him and
when you were no, this is serious because people are like, what do you mean all hell broke loose? Like, what does that look like? Right, and then like, what was the difference between like having sex? You told us what it was like outside of marriage, but what transpired when you did it the right way? Like, what was the sexual experience once you did it the right way? Like, you were married.
Yeah, right. The right way was it was no condemnation. We didn't feel no shame. I knew we was in covenant. He knew it was I in covenant. It wasn't because even when we had sex outside of marriage, I did like Eve did. I covered up myself. Okay, go on, get. And it's like now it's like, girl, so you just gonna you in your birthday suit just walking around? Yeah. And it's like all that, but it's things that I was praying for, huh?
I said birthday suit.
Oh yeah, I was in my birthday suit just walking, and he would look like, oh, but seriously, and I'm all out. So, but
that's the thing. It's like when you're in covenant and when you're having sex before covenant, you're not true. You're naked. That's it. But you're not truly naked.
Right.
When you're in covenant, you're truly naked. And so there's a different level of the intimacy, there's a different level of the sexual connection because it is you supposed to know everything and know all my faults and my wrongs.
Mm-hmm.
I know. So yes, our bodies are naked, but it's a different type of nakedness that you don't experience necessarily when you're just in a relationship or when you're having these types of, encounters with people. You don't have that type of nakedness. So you see the naked, but you're not really experiencing the degree of sexual experience.
Right. Right. And then with the whole hell broke loose, it was we both was asking God for stuff. We both was praying and it was like, well, why is it not coming? And then us arguing for the dumbest stuff. And it's like, well, why are we acting
if they breathed wrong, that it was pissing you off, huh?
Yeah, it was like
everything about it.
Exactly. And it was like, the dumbest stuff. And the thing is, if we wasn't, when that is not there, you're like, you know what? You want to be by yourself or you want to act that fine. But when you like that, oh my gosh, what's going on? What's doing this? What's doing that? Like, even with him, he was praying and asking. And it's like, you knew this was wrong. You knew it. And I sat there and I gave you a way of escape. You ignored it. We got that conscience to be like, this is wrong. Like, this is all the way wrong. But we suppress it. We allow our lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and pride of life lead us. And it's like, no, and my thought, I was, was like, okay, well, this is my husband. But a lot of stuff that could have been nipped in the bud. So that's why I would tell people, like, please wait. Because I'm telling you, even just wait for virginity. Because here's the thing. We had premarital counseling. And the pastor was straight up with us. He was like, your flesh don't forget. So even though you with your spouse and the enemy tried to creep in, and can you imagine if he's telling you why you're intimate with your spouse, you remember how that other person used to do you? Do you remember how they did? And it's like your flesh. So I would teach young women, don't do. I understand it seems popular. It's not.
Right.
I'm telling you.
So keep your legs closed.
Keep it. if you got that, let me tell you, you got that desire. You tell the Lord, I got that desire. Don't pray away that desire because He gave it to you, but you
Exactly.
need to use it in the right at the right time.
Right.
So
Okay. That's interesting. Okay. So then basically, how does a girl not yield to the spirit of Jezebel or Delilah, especially if she doesn't know God? Like, well, and there's sprinkles around here giving the game.
mm-hmm.
What do they do? What can be done?
I guess I would ask her, why does she feel she need to get the bag? What is it? What is it that you don't have? You really got to discern, what is she trying to say? Why do you feel like, oh, I got to get this money? I got, this money or whatever. Why do you feel like you have to run and go get that? I've never been the type of girl to go out with a guy. My friends used to tell me, girl, just go out with him. He paying for y'all to eat. But I got to look at him in his face.
Right.
And he's not attractive. So why would I do that? Why would I go, you hungry, right? Yeah, but I'd rather eat by myself than sit across from him and look. He's not attractive at all. So you don't think about that. You got to look this man in his face. No, I would say, so I would be like, what is lacking? Because it's a gap. Why are you chase the bag? You want money that much?
My only
So
thing.
I'm gonna say this. This gonna sound so bad, but it's the truth. There are some people that are emotionally detached from anything, and so
I
think wait. I think sometimes we say that they're insecure, and that's not it. They have lost a sense of like caring about other people, right? And so their opportunities, like getting food from somebody, is an opportunity, and I don't have to spend my money. Is a thought process, right? And so, even though he's ugly, it's still not my money being spent. It's a what I'm telling you. Okay, and the reason why I could say this is because I used to do it. So when I was 17, starting then, I figured out, I was like, oh, they like to pay for people's food. Okay, fine. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to spend this money no more. Right? And this is just real. So but then I also knew after the third date, they were expecting something. So the third date, after that, I didn't never talk to them again. Now that's a dangerous game to play in this day and age because, men and the internet has made, but I'm just telling you that the logic was, I don't got to spend my money. And I didn't want to get married. So I didn't feel bad about it. And then I watched my dad just do whatever he wanted. And so I'm not saying it's okay, but I'm saying that a lot of times we kind of want to couple it under insecurity, and some people are just heartless. Like, I would say that I was just not a nice person. I could care less about a man's feelings or if he really liked me at the time. I was like, okay, well, I was hungry.
I mean, I wouldn't say
and I don't want to pay for it.
What you said a lot of people like to say is what?
I
can't hear
insecurities.
Oh, when we hear certain things about women insecurity, right? Like, we just want to, because we need attention or something like that. But some women don't care about any of that. They just look at the opportunity of the situation. Like, okay, he's gonna buy me. I could buy myself a $5 meal, right? But if I go out with him, he might buy me a $15 to $20. That means I could go to Red Lobsters. This is a logical calculation here. And I don't want to eat McDonald's today. Okay, I want to eat Red Lobsters. And that is a thought process. And I'm just I'm giving you city girl LA thought process because I grew up around.
My question is, why do you believe that? Why do you believe that because here's the thing, we act in what we believe in. That's how we do things.
I didn't want to spend my money. So I love my money. If there's one thing in this life that you could hurt me in any kind of
okay, so that's it. So
ways mess with my bank account, right? So when I was out of order with God, right? This is real. When I was messing in a situation and I'm not listening, right? You know, the first thing God hit me with is messing with my bank account. And then I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm not out of order. That's when I know, right? Because I don't like to see my bank account at a certain level. So I would just utilize somebody for a meal.
So my question will be for you: were you operating out of a hurt?
Mm-hmm. It was
No,
hurt.
because I wasn't
But it was a hurt. You
hurt.
just
I was just hungry.
internalized-
At that, I was out of a lack to be able to take myself to the lobsters.
No, I
What?
wouldn't say it then. I would say now that the Lord has healed you,
delivered you. Yep.
He delivered you, He has
Oh, no.
healed you. Were you hurt because of what you saw your father do?
Yep.
No, actually, I was oppressed demonically. So I had a lack of control. It wasn't from what my father did. I was electrocuted at 9 months old and left there to die by my babysitter. And so I've always had a enemy, right? Like I never felt safe. And so being able to control situations made me feel safe. And so I operated. I mean, as soon as I don't know when Jezebel answered, but I was able to control things by utilizing things. So I used men, and that's the truth. Because my dad decided that if you get electrocuted at 9 months and almost die, right? And your babysitter that's supposed to be taking care of you does that to you, you never trust anybody. It doesn't matter who it is.
So again, I would ask you.
So I don't trust people at all.
That
was
hurt?
the case.
So
I was, and then my dad wasn't saved. Was I hurt?
Yeah,
I don't know if I was hurt. Like I mean, maybe the baby was hurt. The baby me inside of me was hurt. I don't know. I think I was trying to make sure I was safe.
So what you feel is somebody did not protect you.
Yeah.
And
Right.
because they didn't protect you,
That's
you
hurt.
allow, and I'm not saying you, Jamie, they allow that hurt to get in because now I got to protect myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to protect myself because I feel like you didn't do a good job. You left this person in my care and she allowed this to happen. So I would say I see a hurt there. I don't know. I would say I see a hurt because even with me, I was molested at 5. I was angry. I was angry.
Right.
I can attest to
Tell
that.
her. I was Jamie.
Nobody really liked being around her, but I seen that she was hurt.
Right. I was angry, and you know what came out? Why didn't you protect me? Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why did you? And even with my sister, because everybody protected my sister. Everybody.
But nobody protected you.
No. And
right.
I was angry, Jamie, because it's like, well, what is it about me that you didn't think? Exactly. So I was, I'm telling you, the level of anger, and then went to rage. Yeah. It went to rage. So
you used to black out?
Oh, yeah. I will fight people. I didn't care on the job.
Yeah. Right. In real life.
Ask her. Listen. It's bad. Right. I'm delivered. Thank you, Jesus. But I can get there.
So let's go back and drive this home, because I really feel like there's an identity crisis here, and that's what that is. Mm-hmm. It's like they don't know who they are, or who told you to believe these things. Mm-hmm. Who told you to believe these things about in this way? Because that's the thing, is we act in the things that we believe in. So if I'm acting in this belief, it's like, who told me this?
Right.
And go back to the original source. Because if you go back to the original source and your original blueprint, God has scripted and designed you one way, and you're living a completely different reality. And so the message that I would drive home is, I would ask that, like, who told you to believe that about you? Who told you to believe that this was all you were capable of? Who told you that you had to get a man, half a man, instead of a whole man that's going to be able to do all those things for you?
Because would it not be environment, circumstance, and the enemy, right? So right?
Yep.
It would be so then. So like for instance, okay, so we both have trauma at a young age, right? And nobody spoke life back into us
Exactly.
after that, right? And so those people were used by the enemy to inflict that trauma so that we would have these things, right? I guess people would want to know, like, when did we come to the realization, one, that we were being oppressed, right? Like that we were not living in alignment with the word of God, or that there was something wrong with what we were doing. Because if you have a pain point at an early age and you start to develop personalities to protect yourself, right? How does a person come to the realization that there's a problem? Does that make sense? Like for me,
okay,
go ahead.
Oh,
Go.
I believe at the time my mom knew I was angry. Now, here's the thing. I never told my mom I was molested. I kept it to myself.
Okay.
I did not release it. My mom died when I was 24. I didn't confess it until I was 29. And so she died without me knowing. Now, did she know I was angry? Absolutely. Absolutely. She knew I was angry. My mom was angry. My dad had some anger issues. But then when it was full blown with me times 100.
Right, because it's already in your line, and
yes,
then
it was already in my line, and then the enemy used this person. Now, as me growing up, I was diagnosed with cancer at 27 years old. So now I'm trying to go back and figure out, okay, now where is this coming from? So a lot of stuff, as I started diving deep in with the Lord, I was able to pinpoint certain things. Now I had certain friends. Well, one friend, she would jokingly say, "Why are you angry? You angry? You angry?" And then it come out until once I was so mad at my siblings. My sister go, "Why are you angry?" So at the time, the Lord used her to speak to me, and the shell broke loose, and I wept. And I said, "Why didn't you help me? Why?" And my siblings just looked at me like, "Oh shoot," because they always just saw this shell with me. So it was just, it was like an onion. The Lord was peeling back layers. So that's why I can honestly say, even with this, I got to get the bag. Spirits don't fight fair. It's when people have that mindset, it's more than one spirit. It's more than one. And one of them, I would say, is yes, it's self-esteem or insecurities. But my thing is, what happened? Why do you feel? Who didn't take care of you? Who didn't provide for you? And things like that's what I mean.
So, final thoughts, ladies, because I know we over time, but I want to make sure that they drive home. Like how we can help these young women, because they're following this lady blindly, because they are blind,
right?
And they have no sense of who their identity is. None. Oof. So, final thoughts.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. All right. Well, I would say, what I learned throughout the journey is, and what I didn't have a sprinkle, right? I didn't have a sprinkle. I just had life events that happened,
right?
And me saying, okay, there's a problem, right? And so we know that if we fulfill the lust of our flesh, that the wages of sin is death, right? And so things started to die, not like me physically, but things around me started to die. And so eventually these women, and you kind of want to touch them beforehand, but the point is that if you have a trauma, any type of trauma, you're going, and you have not been healed or given it to the Lord, and the Lord and the Holy Spirit has not come and made you whole in that area or filled your house up, right? We know that there's going to be something ruling in that area that is not of God, right? And so we need to start being willing to look in the mirror and say, this happened to me. It wasn't okay. God, I need you to heal me. I need you to come in and fill me and do a work in me that I can't do in myself. And because healing is hard, And
Oh,
healing is continuous, right? Because it
Right.
says pick up your cross daily, right? So like Satan is gonna send people to continue to try and reopen that wound all the time. And you're gonna have a decision to make every day to say,
Every
am
time.
I gonna go back to the ways of Jezebel or Delilah, or am I going to keep walking in the light of the Lord and be a woman that He had called me to be?
That's good.
And so I think that I was telling people that the reason why people get into witchcraft is because they have lost control, right? And control and rebellion is as a sin of witchcraft. It's what it is. And
Right.
people want to have power over the thing that has oppressed them.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't see the power of Jesus Christ because a lot of us are still holding on to brokenness in the pews. So they're like, what can that God do? But I see this person over here with these crystals and these rocks right here, and they look like they are set free. And so what we have to do is walk in that freedom and that calling that God has given us. So what do we do for these women? We show them with our lifestyle that there is a power greater than sage. There's a power greater than crystal. There's a power better than getting a bag and sprinkle, okay? That can heal you and make you whole again and set you free. There's a difference. I don't have to look at, I can have $6 in my bank and I'm okay now. But back in the day, that controlled me. Okay? And I would do anything to get some money where my money was up. I wouldn't have sex with nobody, but I would just, like I would be like, okay, I gotta cut corners. He's gonna take me out to eat. I would make it make sense. But there's women out there that would do anything to have that power and control, right? But there's only real power in the Creator, and that's in Jesus Christ. And so that's what you have to get to the end, to that end of the road where you're like, I can't do this by myself.
Mm-hmm.
You got to humble yourself,
right?
And that's really lose the pride because you want to keep control because you got your feelings hurt, and give it to the Lord. And that's it. I mean, that's what I had to do as a single person, was just say, okay, if I keep going down this road, I'm gonna keep getting men look like this.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is bad, right? But one day I was like, all right, now I don't know what I'm doing.
I think that's a strong close.
Right.
I don't know what I'm doing.
So, Tara, you got any other thoughts? Or are you good?
So
I'm good.
I think that's a.
I didn't mean to close the house.
No, you did that.
No,
you did that.
Because here's the thing. This is the realities of singlehood today, and that is what's needed. If more people, clung to the actual power of Jesus and not to all this other stuff that they think is powerful, they can be set free. So yes, guys, I think that was fantastic. I think this because I had to touch on that. Like sprinkle, this is just too much.
Sprinkle's the mess though. And I will say I'm glad you did that because I had to look. I watched it and I was like, oh my God.
Damaging.
Like,
very damaging. Very damaging.
I didn't think that it would get this bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you think after a while, like it would die down, that mentality, but it has gotten bad.
Yeah. So guys, thank y'all so much.
Like it's pretty bad out there.
Below what your thoughts of sprinkle is, or any of these relationship gurus that you maybe question yourself, because I know there's a couple more that I probably could have named that I question on what their intent or motive really is, and teaching women or teaching single people how to behave and get prepared. So here we wanted to make sure that in Wife Talk that you understood that this is not the ideas that God created for you. These were not the things, the way that He intended you to live in this particular season of your life. And so if you are dabbling in this stuff, I'm going to tell you to stop, because you're opening doors that you don't fully understand. And so, and the one thing we think about things hindsight, what I say, hindsight's 2020. So we see that after the fact. And I'm telling you, you heard it from Shatara, you heard it from myself, to tell you, listen, you do not want to allow your eyes to be clouded in any type of way before you actually step into this level of marriage. I mean, this next season into marriage, or even if you're already there, you want to make sure that you are in a space that God is there and you're not there by yourself. So guys, I pray that you guys got some good value out of this episode, and we will see you next Wednesday at the end of next month,
Mhm.
with an amazing topic for you. And like I
Yeah.
said, if you have any comments, any things that you want to leave, we can address those on our next episode as well. We love you. There's nothing you can do
Yeah.
about it. But love us
There's
back.
nothing you can do about it.
We out.
All right, bye.
Peace.
Oh.